battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
I made a statement yesterday in the broadcast, and today it is being described as risky. Also coming up, the latest from Philippe Martinez, the CEO of MSR. And in response to a question I posed to a particular guest recently, he says, but Tim, some people have not met you, but they don't like you. All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. This is the most monitored talk show in the world, and it is called NewsSpin. It is aired on Power 97.9 FM. The broadcast is also on the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. We go up until 2 o'clock with your calls at 452-2979. That's 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, that's 716-2026. Kimani is a little bit under the weather, and therefore she is not with us today. So I'll be attempting to go through some of your comments in the chat room. I have no doubt she's monitoring nonetheless. So speedy recovery to you, Kimani. So I made the observation yesterday, and that's an observation I made, I think, last week as well. And somebody is saying to me that I don't understand public sector PR, public sector public relations. I understand it. I've been in this business long enough, if anything, to understand about media. Your PR individual is there to write press releases and to defend whatever entity that they're working for. So you have private sector PR, people at the various hotels, businesses, etc. And then you have public sector, public relations people. So your press secretary to the Prime Minister, your communications officer in the office of the Prime Minister, your communications director in the office of the Prime Minister, they're into PR for the public sector. It's very understandable. They send the press releases. But us in the private media, we have a right to vet the press releases, provide the context, because very often those people will be writing this from the perspective of trying to present the information in a biased manner that's it's tilted towards the government to make the government look good, etc. We as reporters and journalists in the private media, we are there to create some balance and to be as fair and dispassionate as possible. But those PR people, your press secretary, and I'm using that word deliberately, should not be competing with private media during a press conference hosted by the Prime Minister and by government ministers or even government officials. That's where we have to put in place a partition. So if you, the press secretary to the Prime Minister, want to interview the Prime Minister, create a program for that. You're on radio, you create a program. You're on television, you create a program. I think there was a program called maybe Inside Government or something of that nature. Earl Booski had one such program on Radio St. Lucia. Jadia Japierre had one such program on Radio St. Lucia. She also had a television program on Choice. And she interviewed the Prime Minister very often, among other government ministers and government officials. But when you call a press conference, when you have a press briefing, it is not for your PR people to be there on the sidelines asking questions alongside other journalists and reporters. You are not asking that question in your capacity as a reporter or a journalist. If you are doing PR for the government, you are a PR person. So you probably take care of the logistics. You create the setting, you prepare the press briefing room, etc. You're there. Maybe one of you might be hosting the press conference. But it's not your role to be asking questions and competing with other reporters. And I will prove in a bit that those PR people are competing with, they're basically a stumbling block on occasions. All right? Competing with other reporters who want to ask questions on behalf of the people of St. Lucia. So Rihanna Isidore called the NBC program this morning, Safenu, and he took issue with me saying that people like himself and others are competing with the reporters. And he also described my statement as risky. What's so risky about my statement? What is so risky about this? I didn't take a risk in making that observation, which is valid, which is pertinent. And I said it's an aberration because that sort of thing has never happened in St. Lucia. We have those PR people in a conference room at a press briefing and asking questions alongside other reporters. You have sometimes occasions 2 of such individuals or 3 such individuals taking the people's time, when you could be in a room writing some press release, organizing something, some public relations event, etc. You're there asking questions as if those are legitimate questions alongside other reporters. So let's listen to Rihanna Isidore taking issue with a statement I made yesterday, which he described as a risky statement.
You make a claim. We are competing, myself and my co-workers are competing with the private media. That's wrong. That's not true. Nobody who attends this weekly press briefing can ever say that, there's competition in there. They compete among themselves, if you like, to get their questions out, right? But the Prime Minister, you've seen, and St. Lucia sees the Prime Minister when he's at those press conferences. He takes every question. He takes everyone from every reporter, even when he's pressed for time and somebody comes in to say, Prime Minister, you have a meeting and so and so, and whether it's my responsibility or the press secretary or who's ever to say, PM, you got to go to a meeting. No. He says, no. Let me take the question. So for him to say that we're competing with our former co-workers, our colleagues, we personally can empathize because we know what it's like, right? That is just a risky statement. It's not surprising, but it's just risky and unfortunate. I wish he would probably ask questions. Maybe do a little survey among the people who regularly attend, or maybe he should come on a Monday, see what it's like. There's no competition. No one is competing.
So here is the evidence. We'll play the evidence right now.
We're going to continue. If I am just coming to St. Lucia, So we will be giving some serious consideration to that particular part of crime fighting.
Okay, just
monetary value of the jetty and washroom.
As we cannot continue if I am just coming to St. Lucia, like, you know, so we will be giving some serious consideration to that particular part of crime fighting.
okay, just
Monetary value of the jetty and washroom.
So, one reporter wants to ask a question and then she's cut off by the press secretary to the Prime Minister because her question is more important, and that question is about the jetty. So let's play it again.
As we cannot continue if I am just coming to St. Lucia, like, you know, so we will be giving some serious consideration to that particular part of crime fighting.
okay, just
Monetary value of the jetty and washroom.
I rest my case. We're moving on to bigger things, more important things. The Citizenship by Investment Program. Now, we're not passing judgment here at NewsSpin. We are not passing judgment. But what we know and what we understand, I think most reasonable people understand, is that what is happening right now, this whirlwind of events involving the Citizenship by Investment Program has serious implications for us in St. Lucia. As much as people believe we should be focusing primarily on what is happening over in St. Kitts and Nevis, and MSR taking legal action against the former Prime Minister there, two former Prime Ministers in Denzel Douglas and Dr. Timothy Harris, we also have the head of our CIP, who is the subject of this litigation. And we need not ignore that reality and that fact that right now we are under immense scrutiny as a country. Whether there will be evidence down the road to prove that anything illegal was done or not. In the immediacy, our Citizen by Investment Program is under immense scrutiny, and also it is being, I'm sure it is being affected. And I feel a bit for the people who are working, diligent people, honest people who are working in this program in St. Lucia right now. But it would have always been a challenge for us in terms of the due diligence, in terms of us painstakingly being thorough to ensure that bad actors do not gain possession of our passports. Because the likes of the European Union and a number of other countries, Canada, the US, etc., somehow they never want to see us survive. Whatever industry that we're in, whatever area of economic activity we seem to have an advantage, believe you me, they will put a stumbling block in our way. Take West Indies cricket. Our fast bowlers fearsome, and then put a rule that you cannot bowl more than two balls that is over the shoulder of the batsman. But we're talking about the Citizenship by Investment Program. In terms of the outcome, it will not be on the basis of what people believe in St. Lucia, what people are projecting in terms of calling the various talk shows. That will not determine how the Europeans will vote later this year and how our CIP is visualized. It certainly will take a whole lot of vigilance on the part of those who are presiding over the sale of our passports in St. Lucia. And unfortunately, as far as CIPs are concerned, anything that happens that is not kosher, anything that is illegal, that happens in Grenada, in Antigua, Dominica, etc., St. Kitts and Nevis would have implications for us in St. Lucia. So we ought to be very, very concerned. We ought not to reach to any kind of conclusion, but hope for the best to come out of this whole controversy. So Philippe Martinez had another interview last evening with DBS's Lisa Joseph, and he spoke about his expectations as a result of his actions and also as a result of that initial interview he had just a few days ago with that same reporter.
I expected at least a sign that instead of seeing what I'm seeing in St. Lucia since the interview, which is a fury of between political party, is a strong concern that what I have been investigating with my team and what we are mentioning in the RICO lawsuit generate an immediate investigation with international financial companies and action to stop the Galaxy process. It doesn't happen, no problem. It's their choice. People will see what's happening in the weeks to come. Mr. McLeod, in the recording and after his meetings in DC, understood the extreme gravity of what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. Let's, if nothing was done, I mean, all I'm hearing right now is that Mr. Hilaire is going to make an address to the nation. This is not, Mr. McLeod made a statement yesterday that's an embarrassment, and he will be, when he's going to come to U.S. federal court and we're going to put his statement and we're going to put the recording of the condition and the goal of his meeting for him to come to D.C. In our lawyer office, it's going to be ridiculous in front of the whole world, in front of the media that he lied to. So not lie if you don't want to use the word lie, but it's an embarrassment. I feel sorry for him. And if you recall, I was kind to him when we did our interview. I say that he was courageous and all that. But that statement, listen, he didn't prepare that statement. He doesn't speak like that. Someone made that statement for him and he signed it. And now he must be terrified for the statement, because that statement has serious legal consequences will have serious consequences in the legal proceeding.
Mr. Philippe Martinez, CEO of MSR, it was just recently that he had a meeting with the CIP CEO of St. Lucia, Mr. McLeod Emmanuel. He was expecting, according to him, to have another Zoom meeting with the head of CIP, but he ventured to visit Washington, D.C., where the two held talks, etc. Now, somebody sent me a link to the Facebook page of Claudius Francis, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, where he made a number of comments, in particular with Ernest Hilaire, and vouched for his integrity, and etc., and also stated that if he had done anything illegal as far as CIP is concerned, by now, Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, would have given him the boot, etc. But what certainly I found very interesting is the latter part of that Facebook contribution, when he said, quote, "I am, however, bothered by the revelation that the CIP's CEO met with the main protagonist. I can think of no good reason why he did this, especially if, as is being rumored, the trip was not sanctioned by the powers that be. But that is for the CEO to explain. Let it also be placed on record that his attempt at explanation thus far falls short, very short." And I was of the impression that Mr. McLeod Emmanuel might have gotten permission from the Prime Minister to have that tete-a-tete with Philippe Martinez. Now, Claudius was not too clear when he said it is being rumored. But I'm sure that the Claudius that I know, or I think I know, is well connected enough, considering that he is the Speaker of the House, to know whether Mr. McLeod Emmanuel spoke with the Prime Minister or the authorities, as he says, the authorities, so that they could sanction his trip to meet with Philippe Martinez. Very interesting. I cannot think of no good reason why he did so, especially if, as is being rumored, the trip was not sanctioned by the powers that be. And if it was not sanctioned, if he did not inform certain individuals, including the Prime Minister, that he would be taking that trip over to the United States to meet with Philippe Martinez, well, something to me is very strange where this is concerned. Let's take your calls. 452-2979. That's 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026, 716-2026. And also I'll be attempting the chat room. Let's see if we have any of your comments in the chat room. I must admit, this is not my forte. You know, I just like to take the calls, entertain the calls, and the WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, boys, sit down singing for your supper. I don't know who that individual is, but just going through the various comments in the chat room, did not get to vet any of those comments. Don't you know the meaning of risky? Another person says, he says, don't keep your questions to yourself. You are PR, not an anchor, or you are not with the press. That's it. Some more comment in the chat room there. Some of them I really cannot read or ought to read. And somebody says there, okay. A lot of those comments, according to Kimani, a lot of those comments I really cannot read. Okay, let's see there. Somebody says, Tim, you're the worst journalist ever. Okay, another one says in the chat room, man, sit down and keep quiet. Okay. Okay. Need to abandon the chat room. Now I know what you go through, Kimani, in terms of some of the comments that would be posted there that are just not worth reading. All right, let's see if we can get a call on the air right now. Okay, let's see. Please bear with me. We'll try to get this call on the air as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. Go ahead with your contribution, caller. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi, good afternoon,
Good
Kim.
afternoon, Kimani.
Kimani is not too well, so she's not at work today.
Oh, she's not at work, but
Yeah.
I just tuned in. Sorry about that. I hope she is feeling better. Tim, that clip you read from Claudius Francis.
Yeah.
I just want to bring to light to the young people of St. Lucia. These young people that the SLP tend to recruit and bring in the camp to work for the party, not for the government, for the party, the SLP party. These young people need to get to know the history of St. Lucia. They need to know how Sir John Compton and the founders of St. Lucia toiled to take St. Lucia out of adult suffrage when we didn't have nothing. Our ancestors were suffering. To bring St. Lucia from adult suffrage to where it is today, Timothy, the young people, those that the SLP recruit in the camps, send them to school, pay educational fees for them, send them to university, and to come back to St. Lucia, not to work for the government of St. Lucia, but to work for the agenda of the St. Lucia Labour Party. They need to be mindful. Their parents, The parents need to look at these things carefully, Timothy. That organization is a danger to these young people, Tim. You see how they throw the man under the bus already? They're trying to distance themselves away from MacLeod or whatever is his name. That is sad, Tim. Timothy, do you think that young fella, this guy is probably about 30-something years, is it him?
What does his age? What does his age have to do with what we're discussing?
I'm just saying, as a youth, I'm just saying, because these are the people that they recruit. They want the education. They want to give them a salary, team, a way of bribery for them to come on their side and represent them on the hard backs. They at the back and they're sending these young people to lose their soul in the front line for them, Timothy. That is what I see that is taking place there. Now he's on his own. You think that man would leave St. Lucia on such a serious case or allegations they have going on to leave St. Lucia without the knowledge of the government of St. Lucia?
I don't know.
Go to Washington and...
I don't know and you don't know.
I know you don't know, but I am telling you.
But you don't know neither.
Thing. I don't know either, but we are not stupid, Timothy. That is why God tells us to get the wisdom, not the education. Get the wisdom so we know when these evil people will bring things in front of us and we could detect whether or not it's wrong or right. That is what I'm telling these young people. What shall it profit you to lose your soul and gain the world? Tim, I don't know. This country is just screwed up. The SLP, Philip J. Pierre, has failed this country miserably. Is that why this gentleman wanted to come into politics? To put our country under the bus, corruptions upon corruptions, they call it allegation. We are not blind. We are not blind. We are seeing these things happening and covering it up. Timothy, nothing is happening in the country for the poor people. Philip Pierre has abandoned everything. We know healthcare, infrastructure, and nothing. All we have, the poor people have there right now, is inflation on our backs. Nothing is happening. St. Lucians, you need to wake up and take your country from Philip J. Pierre. You have seen, I don't think there's nothing you'll need to know again. Nothing, because the more you'll try to stay silent and not speak, it's the worst it will get for y'all. Things will not happen, Timothy. The country need to be rescued. We need to change the direction of this country, where it's going. We see it's a bunch of greedy people that forcefully, by any means necessary, formed the government of St. Lucia in 2021 to just take our country and put it under the bus. Have a good day, Tim.
You too, ma'am, and thank you so much for calling in the chat room. Somebody says that if Emmanuel wasn't given the green light to go to Washington, D.C., then this would have been insubordination. What could have led to his immediate termination? And as a comment extracted from the chat room. Let's see if we have some more of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody says there, Tim, I'm furious at the Ministry of Health. This morning, 5 o'clock, they are fumigating the Marshall Field area without no prior notice to residents. If was Cap Estate, that would never happen. People have infants. Our clothes on the line, still smelling of smoke, shaking my head. WhatsApp message. Okay, let's see there. Okay. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. Good afternoon, you are on the air.
Good afternoon, Jim.
Hi, good afternoon, caller.
Jim, I don't want to correct the caller a while ago. According to the history of St. Lucia, it was just Charles who brought in adult suffrage and all that. It was not in the Republican. It was just Charles and the St. Lucia Labour Party. And we all know that. It's written in the history book. Secondly, I am of the view that certain things happen for a reason, and reasons unknown. But we are only left to speculate because, as you say, nobody's talking, nobody's doing anything. But at the end of the day, shouldn't we allow, let's say, for example, Mr. Elias is going to address the nation tonight on the CIP. Instead of we speculating, should we allow the minister to go and say, okay, let's listen to what he has to say, and then we can judge according to what he says.
Caller, even before that, people can speak. Even when he speaks. Listen, an address to the nation by any individual, any prime minister, any government minister, does not mean that you'll not try to pull wool over your eyes, you know. And as people, we have to be very suspicious, very cynical to a certain extent, of politicians. We have to be. The fact that you come on television, because it has happened before, politicians come on television, ministers come on television, prime ministers come on television, and they mislead us. Caller, it happens all the time.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Tim. You see, we complain that we're not hearing from the minister. We have not said anything. But when he comes, we will say, okay, he's pulling wool over our eyes, and that's okay. That's for you to judge. That's for you to deduce. But at the end of the day, if he stays even more silent, then the damnation will be even greater. You understand what I'm saying? The damnation will be even greater. And there's a country that has years of economic growth. Even the business sector is saying that they are improving. They are looking to expand on their businesses. How can the country be suffering?
Caller, that is PR you give. Caller, let me tell you, that's pure PR you're giving me, you know. That's not PR. No, listen, caller. It is your reality, and it's the business community's reality. But I'm sure there are a number of people who are watching and listening to this broadcast right now, okay, who will disagree with you. The fact that, Connor, where are you living? Where are you from? You from Mass?
I'm living in St. Lucia.
Right. There are a number of people who are saying nothing's running. And you can come up with all kind of statistics, tell me the business community, thriving, etc. Isn't there another business community? Aren't there the small shops that are suffering? Huh?
Tim,
and the fact that you as a business, you are thriving, all right, with high prices, does that mean that people who are consuming those goods, aren't they basically, is that at their cost, with the pittance that they're getting as a salary?
Well, you see, but as a thing, I'm glad you said that, pittance they get as a salary, right? But here comes minimum wage and everybody keeps their wage. Does that make sense?
Call, I'm listening to you now.
Yeah, so pittance have a salary, but the other government comes with minimum wage, and everybody's declining. Understand? Everybody's declining.
Call, maybe you're in a better position to say that you're okay, things are okay, and talk about business community is thriving, and so on.
Everybody's in a good position. Whatever job you have, you feel you're in a good position. You know.
Yeah, but there are a number of people. There are a number of people who are not working, and for a moment, let's focus on those people as well. They're not earning a living.
And so, do you know there are a number of people in St. Lucia right now, I can tell you, who are choosing jobs they don't want to work because of that's not the job they want, that's not this they want. They don't look at it as a job, you know. They look at it as an entitlement. That's not what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Understand? Whoever starts a job large and end up, you start from small going up. You don't look for a large job just because it has thousands of dollars in payment. You look for something small, and when you get something better, you move on.
Caller, that kind of thinking is anachronistic. That kind of thinking, caller, that kind of thinking is backward, is anachronistic. You can't look at your children, your family, and say, when you automatically, you must start small and then you'll grow. So why do you think people are going to school? Why do you think people are going to university to start? And then gradually you will grow. And there are some people now, they don't start small. Their children don't start small. Okay? They're getting all the opportunities. The other one's getting all the contracts. They're not starting small, caller. Okay? They're not starting small.
But look at it this way. Like
your thinking is too myopic.
Like the caller said a while ago about education. People go to university and stuff. A lot of people go to university. They don't give back to the government. They leave, they go overseas. They go and work elsewhere. They don't come back to work for government. They go elsewhere. And if they work for government, they don't even stay long in government. they move because they have gained the knowledge that they want. Understand?
Caller, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon. That is not what New Spinners are all about. This thing about you talking is such a backward kind of thing. You must start small and then gradually. And the business community, look at the statistics. The business community is doing so well. At whose expense? Let's be realistic. At whose expense? At the expense of consumers, at the expense of some of their workers, at the expense of the country, okay, with runaway inflation. 4522979. Let's take another call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Timothy, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
I've been listening, Timothy, and sometimes, we really, as some St. Lucians, we need to call a spade and stop, sugarcoating things. Timothy, the south of the island economically is suffering, and that's a reality. Businesses have closed, persons have closed shop and moved out of Beaufort because they cannot go. So the economic boom is only centered maybe in the city and in the north, but it should not be. Should it be so, or should it be throughout the length and breadth of our country? Timothy, we need to understand the reality of the day. And sometimes I'm just sick and tired of people just trying to make, things that are bad look good. Economically, we are suffering, Timothy. We are suffering, and there's no two ways about it. Throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia, persons are suffering. Businesses are closing down. The average business owner with the shop, Timothy, and, speak with them. They will tell you things are hard. Things are hard. I ask myself what world the caller is in. Let us not play politics. Let's just look at it broad and just stop the politicking, because it helps nobody, Timothy. It helps absolutely nobody. When I hear those things, it hurts, man, because, we are not living in Mars. We all living in this country, not because things are nice on your side, to think that it is nice on somebody else's side. And we all, I go. The minibus association is suffering. The taxi associations are suffering. The small business owners are suffering. Look, we've taken out poor vendors on the streets. People that, and then we are saying things are happening economically. It's well. Wow. What reality are we in? Please, spare me the political bureaucracy and stupidity. It is wrong. Thank you, Timothy.
Thank you so much. I think this guy needs to read George Orwell's book, 1984. It's as if, people want to beat you into concluding that 2 plus 2 equals 5. And it's not 2 plus 2 equals 4. And they want to beat you into submission. I'm telling you, look at those two numbers. 2 plus 2 equals 5. And eventually, you might just, because you really want them to get off your back. You really do not want them to subject you to so much excruciating pain. So then you finally agree, yes, 2 plus 2 equals 5. Make them believe that they are misleading you. We have another call. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air. Hello. Good afternoon.
How are you doing, man?
I'm okay, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, so I just left my son's school. I came from paying his graduation fee and the facilities fee for successive, I think, about 4 years that was supposed to have been paid on my son and the other children's behalf. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So in all, I had to end up paying $310 as for graduation fees and another $352, which if I did not pay, right, would disqualify my son.
But I thought the government was supposed to pay the facilities fees.
I don't know.
They promised.
I know. What I know is I heard, right, that was one of the promises made. Okay? Now, I don't want to come at you or come at the nation from a political slant. You understand? But I find it very, very disingenuous, if it is, that the powers that be are aware, right, that these fees are outstanding over years. It's not like 1 year and then you could say there was an oversight. Okay? I was instructed, or I was advised that the fees were only paid for the Form 3 year. Okay? And I had to pay the rest. I'm not asking you, I'm not speculating. This is a fact. I came from the school and I paid those fees. Right? And I am calling on the powers that be to do something about it. Okay? I may be in a position financially to take care of it. But I'm very sure that there are parents who are struggling more than I am. Okay? Who have to now put 2 sets of money, $310 for graduation plus another $352. That they should not have to pay because it was a promise, it was a campaign promise. That is wrong. Anyhow you slice it, it's wrong. And I hope that going forward, other parents don't have to deal with that bullshit. Thank you, Jim.
All right, Colin. Thank you so much for calling. You folks in the office of the Prime Minister, you're monitoring the program, the PR people in particular. Call us in just a moment and clarify that issue, whether the facilities fees were paid as were promised or as was promised by the St. Lucia Labour Party administration. Somebody did call the broadcast yesterday to say that this Talvin project, it is back in train, it's back on, because it is Fresh Start has been given the go-ahead permission to recommence work. Now, I wasn't aware, made some calls, and will provide you with the results in just a moment. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. It is called NewsSpin.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbuta at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-7859, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640. Or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
When you feel the vibes and the music sweet, KFC on the road giving you the beat. One sandwich, so chicken fries in your hand. A drink to go, best deal in the line. Food for the road.
Enjoy Food for the Road this carnival. For only $30, you get 2 pieces of chicken, 1 sandwich, 1 regular fries, a biscuit, and a 16-ounce soda. But that's not all. There's more. When you purchase this offer, you get a chance to win carnival costumes, event tickets, KFC vouchers, and more. This carnival season, get your KFC Food for the Road.
It's finger licking good. 44 million fans, 11 players, 1 flow. Bleeding we colors, celebrating we greatness. With every 6, every wicket, every moment of glory, we show the world what we made of. Wherever it's played, Flow is proud to be a part of it. Join We Bacchanal. Visit discoverflow.co. Flow, official telecom supporter of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
For 100 years, Metabo, made and engineered in Germany and distributed by Europa Hardware, has been at the forefront of innovation, delivering quality tools trusted by professionals worldwide. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Here's to the next 100 years of excellence. Metabo, distributed by Europa Hardware, building our world together. For the month of June, get an automatic discount when you purchase any Metabo machine. Come to Europa first. We service what we sell.
Get your accommodation ready for the event season. Jazz, T20 cricket, and of course, St. Lucia Carnival with hot showers powered by a tropical solar water heater. We offer a variety of sizes for any house, apartment, or hotel, and efficient installation within 24 to 48 hours of purchase. Call us today to find out what specials we have in store for you. With 3 convenient locations in Beaufort, 454-6344, Castries, 453-1868, or Grosley, 450-8201. Tropical Solar, good for the environment, good for you.
The Royal St. Lucia Police and Allied Services Cooperative Credit Union Limited is excited to announce our new water tank loan promotion, Glow Go Low. Now you can borrow up to $5,000 for water tanks and pumps. Plus, enjoy 10% discount on all water tanks purchased from Bryce & Company Limited. To schedule your loan appointment, call us today at 45-22105 or 45-36735. Terms and conditions.
In the heart of the Eastern Caribbean, a revolution in healthcare has arrived. La Clinique de Corps introduces the gold standard Signa Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine, the only clinic in St. Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean with this advanced, safe, radiation-free system. Harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, cutting-edge imaging technology, and expert radiologists, the Signa Prime delivers fast, high-quality images for more accurate cancer diagnoses, a leading cause of death in the region. From brain to breast, liver to lung, prostate to pancreas, heart, and so much more, this advanced machine aids in the detection of various types of cancer, offering hope and solutions when they're needed most. At La Clinique de Corps, we believe that everyone deserves the best in healthcare. Save time and money traveling overseas and schedule your MRI with La Clinique de Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rodney Bay. Call 451-6559 to make your appointment today.
Flexible financing options are available for all patients who qualify.
Let's play a clip of a female caller to our broadcast yesterday, and she made an observation.
I'm asking a question. Is Fresh Start back on the project? Did the government went back to Fresh Start and ask Fresh Start to continue the housing project at Tavern? I could not believe I saw Fresh Start and the equipment and everything. So I'm asking a question. Please, Mr. Minister of Housing, Mr. Richard Shedrick, come out and answer that question. Did you give Fresh Start that project to continue at Tavern? Thank you.
All right, so my information is yes. Fresh Start has been given the okay to recommence work on the Talvan project. That is to develop land, so you could have the lands developed into lots that could be sold to members of the public. And that was the initial idea behind this initiative during the reign of the previous administration. And many of you can recall that when the SLP government came into office, this project was brought to a halt, and both Fresh Start and the government, they were at loggerheads. But my information is that Fresh Start has been given the okay to recommence work on that project at Talvan as well as at Shock. So yes, ma'am, you are correct. Let's continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Tim, good afternoon.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Tim, is it that's not the case that had won against the government when they are stopped?
Yes. Well, as I said earlier on, sir, initially the project came to a halt because both sides were at loggerheads, and now Fresh Start has been given the okay to recommence work as of this week.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm understand. But I am saying I could remember there was a case where Fresh Start was stopped on a project and they took the government to court and they paid him. I'm not too sure if it is that project or the one at the...
No, I don't think that project was not settled, no.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, very well. Tim, let me just say that I had a caller talk about, and I had to respond because presently there is nothing happened in the southern part of the island, and that's meaning taking the south now to Viewfort and even as far as Ladbury going down. There's nothing happening in terms of construction activity. Tim, there was something that was happening. I think I told you the last time there was a tower that was a bigger tower that was building on the airport. Work on that project have been stopped. Now, I think it was building by the Taiwanese, if I'm not too sure, if I'm right. The work on that project, I was told 2 weeks ago, came to a halt. Now, I know it is taxpayers that are paying that, and we need to know why. And now I was told the project have been given over to the famous gentleman that have everything, that everything you see that happened, that is the one taking it. Okay? He's the one that have all the project. So he's the one that is going to continue with the whatever first phase, second phase of that bigger tower Philip JPS he was going to build instead of continue the airport project. Now, I am on that issue of the airport project. I know the airport project bring a lot of young fellows was working team. A lot of young masonry, carpenter, mason, welders, steel benders, and just name it. Was when that company started that project, the pile, putting up all the steel pile and there about Meridian Construction, And then now that project is stopped. The truck drivers were benefited from the project because things were happening. It stopped, and now the people in the southern part of as I'm speaking right now, I'm in Viewfort, and I'm seeing nothing has happened to engage the young men, the young fellas in the south there. I'm not saying because of that they should take the advantage going to gangs and killing people. But the Bible said an idle mind is a devil workshop, Fellas not getting anything here to do. I think all the thing that is happening is up north. Everything is up north. And nothing in the south. You don't build a country like that. You put in you're talking about a big community town like Viewfort, where you have an international airport, and you have nothing happen. So what are you expecting the young fellas to do? What are you expecting them to do? You and I probably will think of something different, but the fellas don't have time for that. They need to survive. They need to eat. They need to do this. They need to buy. Pretty soon from now, they need to have school books to buy. They have stuff to take care of. They have their rent to be paid. They have things to do. Why don't the government continue that same airport project there instead of doing short little piece? And if you go by, I don't know when last time you've been at Iran International Airport. When last you been?
It's a few months now.
If you reach and the entrance approaching, when you go into the airport, if you pass the gas station, that is the way you have this big sign, welcome to St. Lucia. If you drive a little further close to the cargo shed, that area right now is a place where all waste material, that was moving from somewhere, so whether it was on the runway, whatever, and that have been packed there for almost 2 years, Tim. With equipment, the project has been stopped. But why don't you say you come and clear that place, clean the area? Even as I'm speaking, you see, I'll have to take a photo and send that for you. All those material that was removed, wherever it was, and packed just by the fence to the entrance area approaching inside the airport. That is bad. That's an international airport. That's where tourists and everybody comes in. The gentleman just refused to move that, and he doing short little piece by there, and that. If the man is working on the airport and the government can't pay him, well, give him the airport for himself. Give him the airport. Big time just give it to him because it appears to me, I don't know why you have all those waste material, loose material that should have been packed somewhere and just pack it by the airport with all his equipment there. Not to say every day there was equipment at work. They just packed that in. It's evident somebody else from the airport must call you and to confirm what I'm saying. And that is just bad. You don't treat an international airport. That's the only international airport we have there in the South, man. If you're done with whatever you are doing on the runway, that have been there for 2 years, I tell you, and those things just packed there, it just sit in there, or send his workers to clear the place, clean the area, and let the international airport remain. Should in case of an emergency, you have to run there and evacuate the area. That's just not looking good where it's packed there by the airport. And I believe somebody else, if they listen and they know what I'm saying, will say the very same thing to you. I thank you.
Thanks so much for calling, sir. WhatsApp message. Things are so good economically that we have the worst performing economy in the OECS. And another WhatsApp message. I hope you will be able to read this message. Registries and functioning in my estimation at about 20%. I submitted documents for processing at the company registry since January of this year for something which would normally take a month. Every time I go to collect, I'm told it's not ready yet. The same obtains at the land registry. The only document you can obtain in about 45 minutes is a copy of a land register. Any other processes to obtain a mutation or radiation or a mutation is an exercise in futility currently. This seriously hampers the conclusion of important business transactions and asks that the appropriate authorities take immediate steps to remedy this situation. We have a call. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You're on the air.
Hello, good day.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, first time caller.
Thanks for calling, sir.
Yes, thanks for having me. Timothy, I'm calling the address to the nation that's supposed to happen tonight. The Honorable Dr. Renesile Cicero, I'm from Cicero. And I'd like to address this. I think that Dr. Hille, the address to the nation is something that can be scripted, it's pre-recorded, and it really show transparency. I think that if my honorable MP wanted to be transparent, he should have called a press conference where he has journalists coming in and asking the pertinent questions that we have for him. And even with that, as we've seen recently, they are telling press people from the government to ask questions. So I think he should have even gone further and probably come on a talk show like yours, for instance. Newsmaker Live is tonight. He could have been on your show. And
hello?
Yes, sorry. Newsmaker Live is on tonight. He could have come on your show and actually get questions from the general public. So, I think that it's an effort to basically do some PR tonight. And I think that there's more behind it, and we need to have answers, the answered We need to have answers to the questions that we have.
Okay, caller. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for calling, sir. Let's see if we have another call. Good afternoon. Yeah. Yes. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Oh, good afternoon, Timothy. Good
Yes, ma'am.
afternoon, St. Lucia.
Good afternoon to you.
Timothy, on this whole CIP fiasco, I heard the young man said that Hilaire should call a press conference, ask questions, answer questions of journalists. I need the nation to understand, especially the UWP, including Manover and Allen. I need them to understand that this is not an Emmanuel Hilaire situation. It's a St. Lucia situation. And we all stand to be very disadvantaged if this thing goes haywire. So when we're talking and we're giving information and we're trying to hurt the other side about all of us, I don't see any reason why Hilaire should call any press conference this afternoon. I listened to the interview with Lisa, and Martinez indicated that he had gotten some fresh information. He was going to use that information to include Hilaire as a co-defendant, which essentially would mean St. Lucia becomes a co-defendant. And if that's the case, sit down, shut the heck up, wait for that, whatever it is Martinez is supposed to be on, wait for that to be served on him, and deal with it based on what's said in that document. We don't know if Martinez is bluffing, looking for any St. Lucian to come out there and to speak and to provide him information that he does not yet already have. I don't know, but to me, if things go back, our travel is affected and our ability to use our passports is affected, it's a hell of a headache a lot of us don't need, especially if you're at that age where what you really want to do is travel. So we need to make sure our government is in order, our country is in order, that if this is a situation about disgruntled investors not getting what they want, we let it be that. If it's a situation where somebody did something wrong, let the process do what the process does, and if heads have to roll, heads have to roll. But until we know exactly what it is we're dealing with, I don't know who's representing these guys, who their lawyers are, but to me, around this whole lawsuit, this whole RICO thing, there's just too much talk, honestly, too much talk. Deal with the court case, and when you get victory, let the rest of the nation know. Time, let us know, we're at this part, we're at discovery, let people know what discovery is, we're at this, we're doing depositions, let the people know what that is, and keep the nation. The facts, the circumstances of this whole thing, I don't think, now that there is a lawsuit, that it's something for us to know necessarily about. That's my 2 cents on it, Timothy.
Right. I mean, you're speaking from the perspective of somebody who has a legal background, okay? But I think that with the correct advice given to the players, given to the people at the center of this, including the investment minister, Dr. Ernest Hilaire, in addressing, do so in a responsible manner that will not have any bearing on the outcome of the court case. No?
Well, I believe Hilaire will take his attorney's advice, which is what he really, at this point, ought to do. These fellas like to talk on their own, and they refuse to understand the importance of having their lawyers, the nation's lawyers, the Attorney General, present and advising them of the best way forward. So they can't speak for on themselves. That he will do, I'm sure, what his attorney tells him to do. I'm not his attorney. I'm not speaking for him. I'm not giving him legal advice. If it's my client, I tell him to shut up.
Let me ask you as well. What do you think about the head of CIP St. Lucia going to Washington, D.C. to speak with Mr. Philippe Martinez?
Oh my God, you had to go there, huh? Honestly, I just think it's crazy. I think it was a bit naive if he in fact did that. Remember, Martinez told us that he did that. We don't know. Well, he didn't deny it when he gave his statement.
Yeah.
So I think perhaps it was a bit naive. Maybe he didn't understand that a lawsuit is a lawsuit, and once one side has filed that lawsuit against you, you don't meet with them. You let your lawyers do that, meet with their lawyers. And why his lawyer was not there, the nation's lawyer was not there. Why was he the one doing the talking? Those are some fundamental errors that when you get to that level of management, that level in the government, in a company, in a corporation, you really should know those tiny little things that you ought not do. You should know that. If you don't know it, you don't know your job, or you're not qualified for the job. But to take off to meet with the plaintiff in a lawsuit without your lawyer, and now he's saying you gave him information that he can use against one of your people. It's a bit messy. And his attorney should have told him not to make that trip, I think.
My final question to you. Rumor has it that the trip was not sanctioned by the powers that be. And that's according to what the Speaker of the House, Claudius Francis, wrote on his Facebook page. What if that is true, that he did not seek permission from the Prime Minister, from the authorities to meet with Mr. Martinez?
Well, see, that's just it. He did not. I mean, you looked maybe agency law and say, well, okay, he was in a frolic of his own kind of thing. But does that really work in this situation when he is already named? He's named in the lawsuit. What he does binds the government. I would likely think that it binds the government. I don't exactly, but I was actually just reading the whole CBI Act to see how he relates to the government. If it's an independent agency, if he works directly out of the Prime Minister's office, that kind of thing. I don't know how that works, so I can't really tell you what the relationship is between them. But I can't see any case going against him that does not necessarily implicate the government. So for him to take that on his own, they would have to figure out what they do about it, what they can do about it. Is anything he say binding on them? Well, admissions against yourself are admissions against yourself. You can't do anything with that.
Okay, I just have
it's a little bit messy.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you. What do you say to people who would be of the mindset of the impression that this does not have anything to do with St. Lucia, we should not worry, because this is just it involves MSR and the two former prime ministers of St. Kitts and Nevis, and this is just something that we should not take seriously?
Well, they filed, they said, a civil RICO, and it's tough to not look at the criminal aspect of that case if what he's saying is true. And if there is wrongdoing, it's our passports. It's not Hilaires, it's not the SLPs, it's not the UWPs. It's our passports. And we all should be concerned about what could happen, because these other countries have to protect themselves. You have 55,000 passports out there. That means you're selling to any and every Joe Blow citizen of wherever. You have to, because your interest is making your money. So if that's the case for us, we have to worry. What if these people decide, hey, listen, I want to relocate to St. Lucia right now? Are we going to prevent them from doing that? They're coming with the ability to buy up the land. They buy it up. They build, Now we have a whole new set of citizens that we have to compete with. That's just me and my political mind looking at it from that end. So we should be concerned about that, number one. Number two, do we have resources to even accommodate that kind of thing? But worse yet, those of us who want to travel, will there be an effect on our ability to travel from point A to point B without the visa? Will we now have to get visas to go where we want to go? There are a lot of countries St. Lucians can get to that Americans can't get to without a visa. So, I like my St. Lucian citizenship. And I don't want to know that because so many people will have the same passport and the foreign governments aren't sure, if this is legit or if this one is a forgery or if this one is illegally obtained or if this person a criminal when they got it. They have to put additional barriers for themselves to protect themselves, and that means we get affected, and they don't know how to separate the new citizens from the old citizens. So now we walk with a birth certificate. It just complicated things. So I'm hoping that what Martinez is saying is just about Martinez being disgruntled. So we have to wait and see.
Okay, ma'am. Just so there's from somebody who was legally trained, former magistrate in St. Lucia. Hope she does not mind me identifying her, Ms. Nigel Toussaint. And the investment minister will be addressing the nation this evening, 8 o'clock. After that, we continue on Newsmaker Live on DBS television to focus on that whole CIP controversy. So at 8:30 tonight on DBS television, I have a special guest. We'll be focusing on the CIP controversy and the implications for us in St. Lucia. Still to come on the broadcast, the NewsSpin news of the day, among other things. This is the most monitored talk show in the world.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus take charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Lucilex remote options are available to serve you every weekday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Call or send a WhatsApp message to 285-6796, 285-3593, 285-3329, or 285-8640, or send an email to customersupport@lucilec.com for assistance. Lucilec encourages you to use the available options for doing business with us remotely.
It all started with a penny. For over 85 years, we have invested in our farmers, fishermen, people, and our country. When we were called to serve, we were here. We understand what is valuable to our people and our country. That is why we support all industries, including tourism. We are the bridge towards a brighter future and economic growth. When our people, government, and businesses called upon us, we were here. 85 years later, First National Bank St. Lucia Limited is here for you.
44 million fans, 11 players, 1 flow. Bleeding we colors, celebrating we greatness. With every six, every wicket, every moment of glory, we show the world what we made of. Wherever it's played, Flow is proud to be a part of it. Join We Bacchanal. Feel We Energy. This is We Game. Visit discoverflow.co. Flow, official telecom supporter of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup.
The new home of the best country music is Power 97.9 FM.
Say the stars are bound to fade.
Switch us on Join Me, DJ Jerry, this and every Thursday from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold, the best in country music.
Your bags are packed and waiting.
The new, the oldies, and the goldies. So let's make it a date, this and every Thursday with me, DJ Jerry, from 8 p.m. till midnight for Country Gold. If it's Thursday, it's Country Gold Thursday. Country Gold, only on Power 97.9 FM.
Rewarding life. When you feel the vibes and the music sweet, KFC on the road giving you the beat. One sandwich, so chicken fries in your hand. A drink to go, best deal in the line. Food for the road.
Enjoy food for the road this carnival. For only $30, you get 2 pieces of chicken, 1 sandwich, 1 regular fries, a biscuit, and a 16-ounce soda. But that's not all. There's more. When you purchase this offer, you get a chance to win carnival costumes, event tickets, KFC vouchers, and more. This carnival season, get your KFC food for the road. It's finger licking good.
Hey guys, guess what? Because your dad deserves more, Europa is giving more. They're bringing back the wow on Friday, June 14th with the very popular Culture Day for Father's Day. Last year was a blast and this year will be explosive. So fathers, stepfathers, grandfathers, all the dads of St. Lucia and all the moms who stand for dad, we are knocking out 15% discount on all pressure washers, vacuum cleaners, upholstery cleaners, in fact, on all carton machines. And that's not all. With turbo impact drills, rotary hammer drills, angle grinders, power saws, jigsaws, and sanders too. This year we are throwing the kitchen sink out for dads. Europa June 14th.
Get your accommodation ready for the event season. Jazz, T20 cricket, and of course, St. Lucia Carnival with hot showers powered by a tropical solar water heater. We offer a variety of sizes for any house, apartment, or hotel, and efficient installation within 24 to 48 hours of purchase. Call us today to find out what specials we have in store for you. With 3 convenient locations in Beaufort, 454-6344, Castries, 453-1868, or Grosley, 450-8201. Tropical Solar, good for the environment, good for you.
Win a trip for 2 to Jamaica. Guinness Sounds of Greatness is back. You now have a chance to win and win big. Purchase Guinness on special at select bars and supermarkets for a chance to win a 4-day all-expense-paid trip to Jamaica. July 3rd to the 6th for Jamaica's Guinness Sounds of Greatness concert. Receive a prize card with every purchase to reveal instant prizes and to submit your entry for the grand prize. See press for details. Must be 18 and over. More. Drink and live responsibly. Sponsored by St. Lucia Times, Inter-Caribbean Airways, and energized by Climax.
In the heart of the Eastern Caribbean, a revolution in healthcare has arrived. La Clinique de Corps introduces the gold standard Cigna Prime Tesla 1.5 MRI machine, the only clinic in St. Lucia and the Eastern Caribbean with this advanced, safe, radiation-free system. Harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, cutting-edge imaging technology, and expert radiologists, the Cigna Prime delivers fast, high-quality images for more accurate cancer diagnoses, a leading cause of death in the region. From brain to breast, liver to lung, prostate to pancreas, heart, and so much more, this advanced machine aids in the detection of various types of cancer, offering hope and solutions when they're needed most. At La Clinique de Corps, we believe that everyone deserves the overseas, and schedule your MRI with La Clinique du Corps Diagnostic Center of Excellence located in Cocoville, Rod 516-559 to make your appointment today.
Flexible financing options are available for all patients who qualify.
Your calls at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716. Let me see if I have any of your WhatsApp messages to go through. Okay, what's somebody saying there? Okay, let's see there. Okay. WhatsApp messages at 452-29. All right, we have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, good afternoon. Yes, sir. Yesterday I called and I kind of asked that we put a tone of caution into the whole discussion of the CIP because I could not understand the allegation that Mr. Martinez was making. And like I have said to you, I've been reading and digging up stuff and I found some things about him that are not savory.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he was in an immigration detention facility in the U.S. for 14 months. He went to prison in France for fraud. In 2020, he wanted to set up shop, but the Mia Motley administration uncovered his criminal on, and they denied him the request and made him persona non grata. And that article is on Times Caribbean, and it's dated November of 2023. From there, he moved to Nevis under Prime Minister Mac Brantley, and that's where he set up his shop. He was paid $150,000 a year for 3 years and made his, whatever it is that he did there. And from Nevis, he went on to St. Kitts, and somehow he's never been to St. Lucia in terms of the CIP program, but he's pulled St. Lucia into that. My whole that he claims he filed a RICO civil. Monday, June 10th, a federal judge in Florida quashed the 1782 which he filed. That's a motion of Section 28 of the U.S. Code. The judge granted the denial of the subpoena that he had put forth to get banking information from Bank of America, Timothy Harris, and Mr. Timothy Harris obtained that victory against him. And the judge went further and said that everything else that was derived out of that is now quashed. So there are no subpoenas coming for him. He suffered this tremendous legal setback because his whole position and discussion is rife with legal contortions and confusion. Because St. Kitts is a sovereign state. If there is a corruption issue in St. Kitts has a justice system. Why didn't he file his grievance in St. Kitts? He went to Florida to file. But when I read on something, an injury that may have happened overseas, does a U.S. resident or U.S. citizen have the authority to file to get relief from the court on that grievance? You know what the Supreme Court ruling on RICO said? That domestic injury had to have happened in the U.S. So first of all, if it is something that happened to him in St. Kitts, and then he's trying to file a RICO civil suit in the U.S., my own suspicion is that whole thing will be thrown out of court because he doesn't have legal standing. But legal
issues are not determined on suspicion. And also, Michael Cohen is a guy with a checkered background, right? You know Michael Cohen, once the attorney for former U.S. President Trump. And he is found to be a liar, a cheat, etc., and he was in collusion with President Trump at some point in time. But he is the one in that hush money matter. He's the one who basically helped convict President Donald Trump.
Oh, you cannot be more right than that, because Michael Cohen was an insider in the Trump administration when they were doing all the nonsense. And so even if he's a liar and a convicted felon, he had something to say because he had a seat at the table. My issue with Mr. Martinez is that, think about this for a moment. One of the first things he said, that's probably 2-3 months ago, is that he requested that the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Lucia go to Washington, D.C. to meet with him and his lawyers. He doesn't have that authority. Whoever is the Prime Minister, and I'm not here to defend or criticize Prime Ministers. I'm a St. Lucian, and any Prime Minister is my Prime Minister. But Mr. Martinez doesn't have the authority on any grounds possible to order the Prime Minister to Washington, D.C. to look at information he claims he has. Why didn't he go to St. Lucia and say, Mr. Prime Minister, this is what I have. I think this is ugly. You need to know this. He is ordering our elected officials to Washington, D.C. So I've been suspicious of him from the very beginning. But all I'm going to say on this, Mr. Poleon, is that we need to be careful because he is someone making the allegation. And I am not here to say he is bad, good, or in between. I'm just here to say he is an unsavory character, and that cannot be denied, just like Michael Cohen is an unsavory character.
Let me add as well, why therefore, against the background of what you just said there, why do you think the CEO of CIP, St. Lucia, went to see him?
I think he runs scared, and he should have never been. The former magistrate made a brilliant point. He should have never done that without his attorney. To go to be named as a defendant in a suit and to go and meet with the plaintiff, nobody does that. But he probably ran scared. He was listed and he didn't know what he did. So he took the trip. Whether he did that with the permission of the government or he did it on his own, that's a different conversation. But the point is, there may very well be something, Mr. Poleon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there isn't anything. There may very well be something. We need to see what that something possibly can be, and then we can be more liberal in terms of what we say about it. But for now, I think it makes sense that everybody should engage with it for a measure of caution. And the last thing I'm going to say is that we are where we are because we have an administration that will not talk to its people. This thing is now probably 2 months old in the media now, maybe 2 months old. And the Prime Minister, not Mr. Hille, not Mr. Emmanuel, the Prime Minister should have brought all his people together, get all the information he had, and come out and address the nation and say, we have nothing to hide in this. We are not guilty of corruption in this. These are the facts. 1, 2, 3. But they don't do that because they think in order to govern, they have to keep secrets from the people. Like the magistrate says, this is a public issue. This is a St. Lucia issue. This is a St. Lucian passport issue. And America, Canada, France, England will not allow us. Well, when I say not allow us, they cannot stop it, but they will block us. They will not have us having all kinds of unsavory characters getting St. Lucian citizenship, and they are able to use that citizenship to go to these countries and to create problems for these developed nations. They will not allow that. So we have a lot to lose. But in the meantime, let's wait and hear what Mr. Hille has to say tonight, because I am as curious can be. I want to hear what he has to say tonight. So I don't know what the issues are, but what I do know is that this is a contortion, this is trouble, this doesn't look good. St. Lucia is looking real ugly right now, but I do not know how St. Lucia got dragged in to a St. Kitts Nevis issue with Mr. Martinez.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, St. Lucian living in the diaspora, Mr. Elwin St. Rose. He has appeared on NewsSpin on several occasions. Once again, 452-2979, 452-2979, along with your WhatsApp calls and messages at 716-2026. And this evening on DBS television from 8:30, we have our News Make Alive broadcast, and I will have a special guest to speak on this whole CIP controversy. Let me see in the remaining moments if I have some of your WhatsApp messages that I can go through right now. And somebody says to the last caller regarding Mr. Martinez, even a broken clock is right twice in a day. And another WhatsApp message, somebody also comments, and by the way, Tim, doesn't the CIP minister know that there's cricket match with the West Indies tonight, or does he not care? Is it deliberate? So because of his okay. I don't know what cricket has to do with the Prime Minister addressing the nation. We have a call. Good afternoon, you're spinning on the air.
Yeah, Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay, caller. We don't have much time, eh?
Yeah, I know. I just taking 1 minute.
Yeah.
Tim, I just want to elaborate. No, not elaborate. Just comment on what the guy just said there about the CIP. Tim, if our politician was transparent and all these things and so on, something like the CIP, that's our business. That's our money, our country, and so on. If they were transparent, we will not be where we are there today. Okay? It's the same thing. Everybody think that they run in their own home and so on, and they're keeping everything under the cover. Now everybody want to come out and talk. Everybody have to speculate. I have a lot more to say, but time is up. I'll check you tomorrow. Take care.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message to go through. Tim, repeat. What time is the show tonight? Well, the investment minister will be addressing the nation this evening, and that is 8 o'clock this evening. And at 8:30, we have News Make Alive on DBS television. That's 8:30 tonight on DBS television. We have News Make Alive. All right, so I was interviewing someone last Wednesday on NML. That's News Make Alive. That's Zachary Hippolyte of the Community Relations Branch of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. I did pose a question to him, but he really startled me with that response. Let's listen.
But do you think also there are people who naturally, because of their predisposition, they naturally will just not like the police?
Oh, yes.
Irrespective of how the police will treat them?
Oh, yes.
They just do not like police officers.
There are people that don't like you, Tim.
Because it's the
and
name.
you've done nothing to them.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware. I'm very much aware. I'm aware of that one. But do you think also there are people who naturally, because of their predisposition, they naturally will just not like the police?
Oh, yes.
Irrespective of how the police will treat them?
Oh, yes.
They just do not like police officers.
There are people that don't like you, Tim.
Because it's the
and
name.
you've done nothing to them.
Yeah, I know that. I'm aware. I'm very much aware. I'm aware of that one.
All right, our question of the day: why should the Prime Minister's PR people ask him questions during a press conference? Why should the PM's PR people ask him questions during a press conference? Our question of the day. And now our NewsSpin news of the day. Russian warships en route to Cuba hold missile drills in the Atlantic. Russian warships en route to Cuba hold missile drills in the Atlantic. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to another edition of the... And that is NewsSpin. Please join me this evening, 8:30 on DBS television for the program Newsmaker Live. I have a special guest who will be focusing on the CIP controversy. Goodbye.